So I did a quick live yesterday. It wasn't that quick, but anyway. All right. So you are the power they fear. The 1%, the oligarchs, the machine that has kept us wrapped in the cycles of birth and death, reincarnation, loops. This is why many people call this a prison planet when it's actually not. That really began 3,000 years ago with the birth of the Abrahamic religions, when they walked away from the truth of how we were made, how we came here, how we were originally souls on other planets, as Lyrans, Andromedans, Arcturians, and so forth. The list is long. It's long. And right now, if you're an American, and if you're a European, Asian, African, watching what's happening in this land, you will see despair for the most part. There's more despair than not. And this is where they want you. Now, the thing about the holographic universe is that reality has multiple points of views. And once you understand how manifesting realities work, and this is why many of us, like myself, I was born awake. I remembered, okay? And it was hard. It was hard to be around fucking people who still believed in the machine. But what I will say to you is that many of us have been studying these concepts not to buy a fucking new car. I'm starting to realize that. That was the carrot. That was the gold carrot. It was to do what we were trained to do now. It's funny how people of my generation, we stood in line for, Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Remember the Force. All of that. It's insane how we were spoon-fed the information of energetic frequency and how powerful we are when we unplug from the mortal gaze, from the 3D density of what we call reality, when there's so many levels of reality. And scientists know this. Quantum physics is how we started understanding, but quantum physics was discussed in Sumerian tablets and the Vedic ancient teachings. And so this is it. This is when we have to ignite our crown chakra, our third eye. But before we can do that with any success, you see, this is the thing. We have to go into our root, sacral, and Hara chakra, which are the three chakras. Okay? The root at the bottom, at the tailbone. At the 2 inches below the belly button is the sacral. And the Hara is your belly button. It's called the Hara. It's also known as the womb chakra, WOMB. And that's where all your reptilian energies lie. Your fear, your trauma, your rage, impotent rage, all of that is in that sector. And this is why when you meditate every day, you have to work on these chakras. You're going to toggle between 3D, fear, and if you do this work, 5D, transcendental understanding of the power that you have, the power that they fear. I can't say more than that. Right now, many of us are working with various grids and energetic fields. We're using quartz crystal as a power. My God, it fucking makes your watch and your phone works. You would think people would understand the power of crystals, but okay, whatever. And how the power of chanting Sanskrit is. My God, they're using Sanskrit to code AI. That's all I gotta say. It's like, what is it that people can't understand about what I just mentioned? Quartz crystal to make your watch work, and Sanskrit, the ancient language of Sanskrit, which is a mathematical precision, is used to code AI. And this is something that we have been, me and TWINFLAME have been talking about again and again for the last 2.5 years. And so it is. All of the information you need is taught by so many wonderful teachers. There's some guy, I don't know why they're bringing it up, but they're telling me to show you this. There's some guy, I might pause this video to look him up real quick. I'll text my son, who spent 17 years and is not real. And now he's come back as a spiritual teacher, having people fucking push their face up against the wall and look at lines, one line that goes diagonal, horizontal, and people push their eye up against that. He supposedly teaches DMT, and they see sacred geometry, but what they have been seeing, and this is where I caution you with these fucking charlatans, what they've been seeing is reptilian, snake skin. That's what one woman saw. And by the way, she has a channel on Gaia. That's why I'm pushing away from Gaia.com. I used to promote it. You'll hear me promote it. This is where I pivot, my friend. This is where we all pivot. It was true yesterday. Today, it's not. I was a big advocate of ChatGPT. Now I'm not. Hey, that's what you need to understand. And we need to be, as spiritual teachers, influencers. I'm a small, fucking tiny drop in the big ocean of consciousness, as we all are. But I will be the first to admit that what I thought was true then is not true today. And you can't freak out over that shit. You got to fucking pivot. Oh, fuck. Now I know more. More than I knew a year ago. Okay, that's not true for me anymore. There's nothing wrong with admitting it. And there's nothing wrong with actually yourself feeling the shifts that you're going to be going through as more information pours into you and you realize, oh, wow, okay, yeah, okay, now I have more information and I'm out of here. I'm not doing this shit. I'm fucking going around this, or I'm actually doubling back and retracing my steps to take a new path. It's okay. It's not fucking failure. It's acknowledgement. It's acknowledging that you needed more information. or in ChatGPT's case, it fucking changed. It got taken over by the oligarchs. Okay? And that's it. That's what happened in this case. But anyway, so this guy's pushing people's, they've got their face up against the wall, looking through down the line, and they're seeing, and can I explain something to you about dimensions? He's exposing them to fucking lower dimensions. That's why they're seeing reptilians, snake scales. You don't have to do this shit at all. I caution you not to. I caution you to be very, very careful with the shamans you work with. Shamans, charlatans, because many of them are psyops, and I'm sorry, they are, and I don't give a fuck. And that's why the New Age community is falling the fuck apart, because they walked in and took over aspects of it to change the truth, to give you nectar. You know, how do you give somebody, well, they just showed me the apple that Snow White gets. It's an apple, but what's inside the apple? That's right. It looks good. It looks safe. It's pretty. She even bites a part of it to show her it's free of any concerns, any poison. Right? Okay. So that's like, bullshit 101, right? On the scale of what we're looking at here. Your discernment is the most important thing that you can master within yourself. And how you master discernment is mastering the monkey mind. Is not shaming yourself. I'm not shaming myself because I thought XYZ was good and now it's not. I'm not shaming myself. Fuck that. I'm going, hey, this was true last month. It's never going to be true again. This was hijacked. Now it's no longer pure. It's okay. But be careful, because if you do breath work, if you actually work with good sound healers, your DMT will be, boom, will open up like crazy. I've had 2 DMT experiences in my life where it was all sound frequency. But what some of these fucking jokers are doing is, especially with the optical, okay? There's a laser beam, a red laser beam going into the eye. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's taking you in other realms. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all when we start letting people I don't know about you, but I don't let people touch my body. I don't let just anybody do energy work on me. I don't fucking do that. I got to trust you with my life. With my life. So when I say, yeah, do some somatic healing on me, it means I fucking trust you with my life, because in a sense, you have now my life in your hands. When I do hypnosis or Akashic or any fucking reading, I had a woman 48 hours ago who she just wanted to send me the money for the session, just wanted to send me the money. Just wanted to send me the money. Send me the money. Where's your Cashapp? Where's your Venmo? How blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. I have to talk to you first. No. Just give me. And no. I have to talk to you first. I got to talk to you first because I want to know if you're ready for what we're going to do together. I have to know, do I want to be karmically entangled with you? Because once I say yes to a client, I have a contract I've just signed with a client. It doesn't matter if it's for that hour. I don't care if it's for a lifetime. It doesn't matter, but I take this shit seriously. And so be careful. That's my point with you, man. Be careful. I sat there for like damn near before we even booked. I think it was like a 41-minute call where I told her my background. I liked the sound of her voice. She sounded like a powerhouse. She was intelligent. I could tell all that from how she was responding. And she wanted to share shit with me. I said, don't tell me anything about your, like nothing. Like, don't tell me anything. I don't want to hear it. Not now, but later I will ask you. And we did the reading. It took 2 hours. Why am I saying this to you? I'm not selling me to you. I'm saying fucking be discerning, man. Don't just let anyone fucking have access to your third eye. Don't have anyone access to your fucking shit. None of it. That's not to be afraid. I remember those, I was up in Mariposa, California, and one woman was particularly gifted at the gong. A paste gong, P-A-I-S-T-E, a paste gong. Okay, it's a particular type of gong. And they have them where they have sound frequencies to various planets, various sound frequencies, things of that. They're pretty fucking badass gongs. But anyway, one woman had a gong. Now, I don't know what it was, but apparently people who were in the sound bath felt ill, sick. They felt ill, sick, swear to God. I never experienced that before. All sound baths for me have been amazing. But anyway, and so some people, I think it was like 3 or 4 women, felt like, well, it was a one-off. Maybe I was, maybe it was the coffee I had this morning, or maybe it was whatever, right? So they went back, and sure enough, fucking it happened again. And this particular woman who I was working with, who was incredibly, in fact, she's the one who actually activated my DMT to have an absolutely amazing, mind-blowing experience. I literally still remember frame by frame. It was an amazing experience. She was very talented, incredibly talented, and she was an alcoholic. So why is that so shocking? Because people can be incredibly talented, but have addictions because of whatever trauma they dealt with, okay, or have been dealing with, or unable to deal with it. That's the other thing. People think that we come in fully pure and fully integrated. No, we don't. No, we don't. We might actually be microdosing shit, and I mean, the plant stuff, and because it's all. And when I say we, I'm not saying me. I don't do that, but there are people who do it. But I would trust them with my life. How's that? Because they are fucking trying to hold on in these avatars. It's like a weight belt around their body, so they don't just, because it's so painful to be here, okay? But they are incredibly talented, and she was one of them. And long story short, the experience I got from her was still something I'll never forget. But this other woman was literally harming. I would actually say fracturing people's chakras. I'm not actually kidding. And so I remember discussing this at length with one of my friends, who's a real. She's a real, how would I put it, wizard, magician. You'd call her a witch. I call her high priestess, who actually knows her shit. And as I started seeing people panicking, or people getting really riled up and feeling despair. See, my thing is, I'm okay with anger because it'll get you out of bed. I'm not into despair and depression. That'll keep you frozen. See, that always concerns me. And powerless. So I contacted her and said, how do I do a grid of protection? And so this Saturday, and I advise you to do the same with your community. You know, you might have a friend, you might be the Witches of Eastwick and have just 3 fucking friends you love. But if I were you this weekend, I would talk about setting up a grid of protection in your apartment, in your house, on your land, things of that nature, using quartz crystal. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And it fucking works. Meanwhile, ice cubes are going to Louisiana, New Orleans in particular. And what happened with Katrina was an abomination because of all the Creole people that were forcibly removed, who had very strong bloodlines, African bloodlines, Native American bloodlines, French and Irish bloodlines, that made them incredibly powerful, psychically powerful, because they had the 3 strands of DNA with the epigenetics of magic. Okay? So anyway, that was a side note I wanted to bring up. Long story short though, icebergs are there, and there are voodoo dolls all over fucking light posts and shit like that. And the shit's working. I've never said to you it never worked. I said to you the boomerang is a bitch of using that kind of magic, that kind of witchcraft, voodoo. It works, and it fucking works. And I remember seeing a documentary when I was 8 years old on voodoo in France. And the shit fucking works. African voodoo is fucking incredibly potent and powerful. And it never misses its fucking mark. However, put in the wrong hands for making a man fall in love you or a woman is absolutely a fucking no-no. Okay? And this is why I have, and I've met people who've studied stuff like that in Brazil and so forth. So what's happening in New Orleans is, the shit's going to get real. And so why am I sharing that? Because I want to share the contrasting faces of magic, of the potent magic of using the holographic universe, using manifestation, using the Akashic Records with the various, crossroads that we have, choices that we have, freedom of will, things of that nature to make shit happen. My group is choosing what you might call white magic, which is green magic, which is loving magic, if you would like to use the word magic. And it is to create portals of power. And so I would highly suggest you look at the right options. And I was telling my son, these people in New Orleans have already taken on the karma with their clients, and so they don't give a fuck. This is like for a really good cause in their minds, and God bless them. I give them a bow, seriously, because what we've been seeing is outrageous. I was talking to a friend of mine in England, she's an Irish woman, who knows about Fred Hampton and all of the members of the Black Panther Party and what was done to those men and women who only wanted to give their community, and also they wanted to form a bond with all races, and how that was destroyed. And so to people, white Americans who don't even fucking know your own history, shame on you. And I'm calling you fucking out, because I've got one woman in Norway that knows all about it, another woman in Holland that knows all about it, another woman in Ireland that knows all about it in detail, and most Americans don't know anything about it. And that's bullshit. So what's happening right now in America is that what people of color have always said was unfair is now being, unfortunately, rolled out to anyone who's not part of the 1%. That's it. And the thing that we knew the concept of 99% for the last 25 years. And it meant really that 99%. I meant all colors. But in the 99%, we are the Hopi prophecy, the rainbow kids, the warrior rainbow children come to unite. See, that's the whole point of it. But it would be good if you kind of understood what was before you in the 1960s so that you would fucking see how far they went with people who didn't look like you if you're a person who is Caucasian. It's important because then you're going to realize that your brothers and sisters of color have suffered these realities for decades. And it's probably the worst thing I've ever seen, is that this has been ignored for so long. And if you're a person of color, you're not going to argue that point with me at all. You can't argue the point, because we've all had relatives and people who've gone through some stupid shit. So why am I saying that? Because the Hopi prophecy is what they're afraid of. They don't want that to come to pass. And that's our power. That's why I say in the title of this video, they fear your power. They fear it above all things. And to install fear in you is to annihilate, dilute, chain your power. As an architect, that's why they say you have God in you. You are God. The reason why people say you are God, I mean, it's a great little tagline. I love the t-shirt. I am God. Great t-shirt. Love it. I'll put it on my bumper sticker on my car. Great. But it's living that. Living that. What does that mean to be God? It means you are an architect of reality. That's what it means. Or else it's just a fucking t-shirt. And so you're either going to be God and be fearless and loving and generous, because the Anunnaki God in the Old Testament has nothing to do with the God of the New Testament. It has nothing to do with the God in the Sumerian texts, in the Mesopotamian teachings, in all of the teachings. Egyptian teachings with Akhenaten and Nefertiti. They pray to Ra, one God, the loving God, the energy of bliss, unconditional love. God makes you feel ecstatic. It doesn't make you feel rotten, depressed, self-loathing. That is a creation of man to control men and women. So, use crystals. Learn Sanskrit mantras. Learn how to control and master your monkey mind. Learn how to activate your chakras. Learn not just your 9 somatic chakras, but your 12 chakras. 13 chakras, actually. And then work on yourself. That's instead of saying, I don't know what to do, I feel powerless. People like me keep telling you what to do, and you're not believing it because it doesn't come in the material world. Here's the analogy I used to share with clients. If I took the oxygen out of your room, within 10 minutes, what would happen to you? What would happen to you if there was no oxygen in the room? You can't see it. You can't bottle it. You can't, actually. You cannot take your little bottle and put a cork in it and then benefit from that little bottle. What happens? And yet, you know it's there, and yet it is invisible to your eyes, and yet you know it's there no matter what I say. You know oxygen is what keeps you alive. You can't grab it in your hands. You can't bottle it. You can't do shit with it, but there it is. A constant. And without it, you don't survive. Energetic fields, various realities, live with us. And what we look at, whether we look at the lower, dimensions, which is what this fucking asshole is showing people. He's not showing the real deal. He's not showing the real deal. He's not. He's a charlatan. And I'm not sure what his agenda is, but I wouldn't trust anything like that. What you are is God. And that is your absolute power. And that's what you have to literally live in 3D, scaling to 4D, into Shambhala, 5D, on this planet, on this very planet. It's been done before. See, that's the thing. This is why they erased history. They erased the history. We don't know shit what happened in 7,000 years ago. We don't know anything. We don't know what happened 13,000 years ago. We know of Atlantis because of Plato. We knew of Troy because of Homer. And we found Troy, just so you know, on the side note, in the 1870s by some millionaire, German. But we know Atlantis. Bimini, the Golden Triangle. I mean, it's called actually the Bermuda Triangle, not the Golden Triangle. I was thinking something else. The Bermuda Triangle, we all know, I've studied it since the 70s, we all know is a portal. Fucking planes disappearing, fucking people, whole boats disappearing. There are various portals and ley lines all over the world. All over the world. And so we never really fell into full 3D. We did, human beings, Homo sapiens, we fell into 3D, but guess what? There are still portals of 5D. And this is why when the book came out of the Celestine Prophecy, people were, Cindy Crawford read it, Richard Gere read it, everyone read it. So that is something that you have to kind of look at. It's kind of like remember the levels of reality, and then you pick the reality you want to live in. That's it. You pick it and you do what you need to do. All right? Don't despair. Don't lose your fucking shit. Don't lose your shit, but have moments of meltdowns, like, crash out and then get back up. Crash out and then get back up. Chant. Take off your shoes. Walk on the soil. Walk on the grass. Talk to Pachamama. Talk to the Great Mother. She has been your mother in every incarnation you had. Every single time you incarnated, she was your mother. And she basically has been your home. And so the worst thing you can say is, I hate this earth. I hate this planet. One of the reasons why there's an agenda to make you feel like this is a prison planet is because if you believe it, you become a victim of it. And by the way, just so you know, you don't get to leave this planet unless you understand how to be a frequency match to other dimensions. See, that's the thing. Doesn't matter if you hate it. Doesn't matter if I hate living here. I hate this world. This is going to keep you looped. Okay? You have to learn how to love. The planet, by the way, as I've said so many fucking times, I don't know how many ways I can say it. The planet's never been a problem. The waterfalls, the deserts, the forests. I mean, they're trying to fucking destroy the virgin forest. They're trying to destroy our waters. They're trying to destroy wolf packs. Apparently, they went through an agenda about 10 days ago of shooting 450 fucking owls in the West Coast. Why? Really, the question is why, right? And the agenda to destroy is to create an energetic hurricane. Energetic. Like the 100 monkey theory. Like the butterfly effect. To fuck you up. So suddenly you're standing in line buying a bag of apples and yogurt, and you get hit with depression. Suddenly out of nowhere, you're getting in your car and they're like, what the fuck is this? I was fine until now. It's not you. You're picking up, because you're an empath, you're picking up on the energy of injustice, of despair, of the howling cries, of all sentient beings being harmed by a very small percentage, 1%. Because it's not you doing it. It's not me. And what's happening, and I did a thing on this Jonathan Ross, he's got a GoFundMe, go figure GoFundMe, but anyway. And you should see the support. You should see the support, the supporting words. And what I will say to you on that, because this is important on the spiritual ascension, because you see, we're walking towards ascension, you see. And how do you maintain your fucking grip on the reality you want as opposed to the reality that's being shown to you every day through fear, violence, and so forth? Is that you must understand that these people used to smile at you at City Hall, at the DMV, at the supermarket, You thought they were nice people, but you never understood that the most placid facade can house the most evil souls, reptilian souls, not souls like yours and mine, empathic, multidimensional souls. You are seeing now, it's almost like a fucking Twilight Zone. Actually, no, it's not like, it is a Twilight Zone. And you're getting to see evil and where it's housed in the most mundane facade. See, that's what's blowing your mind. And that is actually fucking awesome. We get to see the assholes front and center in 3D, and we can circumvent these fucking assholes and basically say, I do not consent to the presence of these kinds of creatures. And they're creatures. They're low-level reptilian creatures. They have reptilian souls. They do not have soul. And I'm not kidding. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm not going to be politically correct. I don't give a shit if this offends anyone. Oh, but they're all made in God. No, actually they're not. See, because we've gone away, we've actually hijacked ourselves out of fucking the Bible, the Abrahamic religions, which are misogynist. We've basically breached the doors of our liberation and looking back at the ancient writings that were withheld from us, like the Sumerian tablets. I think the only reason why they survived thousands of years is no one knew how to fucking read it. And it was cute. Oh, look, uniforms. Oh, like, wow. I mean, that's it. That's the only reason why it still survives. And God knows what the Vatican has in its library. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But I was told it's 10 miles long. 10 fucking miles of knowledge. Of ancient, forgotten fucking knowledge. Of the truth. Of how long we've been here on this planet, what kind of things we saw. I'm going to tell you something. In my Akashic readings, I've seen Pleiadian men marry an Atlantean woman. I've seen Andromedans help create the pyramids of Giza with the people, the indigenous people of the land of Egypt. Now you tell me, do you really think? And not to mention, then I've had people in hypnosis remember shit on this planet not recorded. Now you tell me, you think it's fantasy? Because I've had clients literally sit up after hypnosis going, did I make this up? I'm like, how creative are you? No, I mean, seriously, I'm not being funny. How creative are you? Seriously, if I told you to write a short story about a bird and a boy, how many pages could we write? And most of them say, well, I'm not really a creative person. Well, did it feel real? Yeah, it felt really real. Like it felt like I was remembering a memory. Okay. Do you think you could make something up like that? I mean, have you ever I'm not into sci-fi. Okay. So what do you think it meant? Did it feel like it was you? Yeah, I felt like I was in another body, but it was my body in another time. We've been lied to. Do you understand? We've been lied to. We've been lied to. What the fuck do they have? What does the Vatican have? 10 fucking miles of knowledge. And you have to have a particular dispensation from the Vatican to allow to go to the library. And then you need to know the book you want. You need to know what you're looking for. You can't just go browsing like you're at Barnes and Nobles. And why is that, by the way? Why is that? And why is it only certain elite scholars can have access to the library, knowing which book they want and not knowing what else is there? 10 miles of what? What else is there? You need to stop fucking drinking the Kool-Aid. There are cults. I just watched something. I remember my father telling me about Reverend Mooney. Reverend Mooney turned out to be a psyop. But anyway, I'll never forget. I lived in New York City. I think it might have been 1979 or 1980. I'm a kid going to school. And I'm watching Reverend Mooney marry 500 people who had never fucking met each other until that moment. I know cults. Osho's another cult member. Another cult, what am I saying? Founder. Osho. Everyone's so happy to quote Osho. Fucking go down, deep dive on Osho and his gold Rolls Royces. His 36 fucking Rolls Royces. The problem with these Abrahamic religions is they are cults. Period. They give you ceremonies, incense. They make you feel like you belong in a community. Let's be honest. Let's stop the fucking bullshit. And most people do not want to be different. They want to belong. Same jacket, same lapel pin, same white skin color. And this is where we're being challenged. Everything that we have been conditioned to do is being literally challenged to levels that are making people collapse, implode, re-question. You have seen the monks walk for peace. They're fucking physically in pain. Have you ever walked for 3 miles? I remember at the age of 19, well, no, I was 18 years old. I was on the track team. I was on the track team and I did a march for Diamond March or whatever the fuck it was called. 25 fucking miles. I was fucking shot. And I was a teenage athlete running stairs for 1 hour a day, 5 days a week to condition myself for the track team. And I was shot. And I was brand new knees, brand new ankles, I'm an 18-year-old kid. So these men are in pain. But not only are they in pain, bullhorns are being blown at them from evangelists, these fucking pieces of shit talking about the devil when they are the epitome of satanic cults. So, meanwhile, you've got people who don't know what religion they are. They go to church because, what else am I going to do on a Sunday morning? And my soul, they're terrified of their souls. They're terrified of spirituality. They have been actually trained to fear God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine fearing your mother and father? Fearing them, not loving them, not being loyal to them because you have free will, but fearing them. And what happens when people fear their parents? Well, they're in an abusive household, typically. Well, we kind of know that. A God, the only God that created us all, loves all of us. That's what George Carlin said. There's a famous skit he does where he'll blaspheme you. He'll, create fires in your village, and he goes through this whole litany of evil things, but he loves you. The hypocrisy. George Carlin says it brilliantly. It's a cult. And it's actually awful. I remember, I'm going to tell you, I always bring up this movie, but it's one of the movies I love because in the movie, Conan the Barbarian, I'm not kidding, I just fucking bring it to the level that we can all understand. In Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger, in both of the movies, but there's the one where it's this blonde, she looks like a Valkyrie. That's his soulmate, twin flame, whatever you want to call it. And she dies, and he's never the same. But in it, James Earl Jones is a snake cult leader. And there's a scene where there's all these people up around. It's like a coliseum, if you will, and he's looking up to show Conan his power. And there's a girl in a white tunic, and all he does is flick his finger forward for her to step off the fucking ledge. And she does, without a sound, and falls to her end. To show Conan his power. Some of these movies look like little, chewing gum, bubble gum bullshit, but they have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of wisdom in the concept. And this movie was made in the early 80s when cults had just been, drink the Kool-Aid comes from a cult. Hello, okay? Don't drink the Kool-Aid from a cult. An absolute horror of an ending for many people who realize what they had just followed was a demonic nut, okay? Be careful of cults. They come bearing fruits and flowers, and they come bearing nectar, because as I said, Snow White bit into the apple not because she thought it was unsafe, but because it looked safe. Didn't the witch bite a piece to let her know how delicious it was before she handed the right side to Snow White? Yes, she did. So in every single little fucking story, from the Matrix movies to Star Wars to Star Trek to, I could go on, to Gattaca to, my God, okay? I can't. We have spoon feedings of knowledge that shows us to sidestep bullshit, to reroute, to reassess, to understand that something was co-opted, something changed, your opinion changed. There are people that voted for that thing up in that place. They voted for that, and now they're saying, I fucked up. That's good. We don't punish people who say, I fucked up. We go, welcome back. I'm glad you're awake. We don't fucking bully people. We don't fucking say, I'll never forgive you for that, because it's like, I'll never forgive. Do you understand? Both parties supported what was happening to these white, brown, and black Palestinians. Both parties. Both of them. So it was really definitely voting for the lesser of two evils. We'll just say that, okay? I don't give a fuck. Please unfollow me if you can't figure that one out. You can always find me one day when you're ready to understand that truth. And every person that is realizing what's happening is apologizing. You are God incarnate. You are Yeshua incarnate as fractals of that spark. You are the spark that determines where we're going now. And you got to stop listening to motherfuckers telling you that we are going into the end game of Mad Max realities. Right now, as we speak, there are multiple realities living as one. The Arctic Circle, the Arctic, Antarctica, with Admiral Byrd is real. It's fucking real. I listened to one of his old interviews, the crackling white noise of broken lines as he's being interviewed. It's fucking real what he saw. When Area 51 was being talked and hushed about in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I remember my little tiny radio, the size of my hand, at 3 o'clock in the morning, listening to these pilots, these retired officers, talking about what they saw. Not everyone's a liar. Not everyone's a tinfoil hat. Not everyone is a conspiracy. Not everyone is putting their whole reputation, their whole livelihood, their whole ability to walk the truth. Look at Norman Finkelstein, Dr. Norman Finkelstein, who's been calling this shit out for decades. He barely survived his career. He barely survived. I think he was hand to mouth for a long, long time. People who tell you the truth are called liars, they're called crazy, and they're called conspiracy theorists for a reason. And still, your duty to yourself is to discern. Don't worry if you don't believe it today. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe it would blow your mind and put you into a fetal fucking position. But one day you'll be ready. One day you'll be strong enough. One day you might actually believe something was true and realize, just like I did with ChatGPT, oh, fuck that. Yeah, bye. Off my fucking phone forever. Thank you. There's no shame. No loss. Redirect, pivot, redirect, reassess, discern, meditate, ask yourselves, ask your your dearest friends who are on this journey with you. And if you don't have people that are on this journey, get some. Because you can't do this alone. You cannot be in the void of your own thoughts alone. Sometimes you need to blow some steam and say, am I going crazy? And you can hear other people going, no, dude, that's exactly what I'm going through right now. You're going to, thank fucking God. I thought I was fucking losing my mind. This is the most exciting time to be alive. It is the most fucked up and the most exciting time to be alive. It's fucking amazing. I mean, the emotions you might feel, and certainly I'm not here to tell you how to feel in that level, but the emotions you might feel is the constant cacophony of the awe, the gratitude, and sparks of fear, sparks of impotent rage, and sparks of despair. And your job is to make sure that 80% of the time you're in your power, and 20% of the time, because you're human, you're a multidimensional soul having the human experience. It means that you are in a human body, but before that you were in various starseed bodies. We are the disclosure. No one's coming on fucking saucers and crafts. And if they are, they are our ancestors. Do you understand? It's a whole pivot. Oh, they're not aliens. Because we are the aliens that have incarnated into these bodies and we forgot who the fuck we were. They're our ancestors if they land. But to be honest with you, we're the ones that landed a long time ago, probably 13, 14,000 years ago. And then somehow when Atlantis fell and started the domino effect of creating a 3D grid of density, we fell with it. We forgot. Amnesia, total fucking lobotomy. So that's where we're at. And if I sound crazy to you, good riddance. I'm glad. Because who am I to make you feel comfortable right now? You know what I mean? No effing way, really? Yeah, he sold out hard. So, any other question? He needs money, always needs money. George Carlin. Yes, he does. And I'm glad you guys are chatting. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, so yeah, Gaia used to be my channel. I have recommended Gaia to you guys. And to be honest with you, I've stopped watching it for a while, but I didn't know why. But now that I see some of these quote unquote teachers that got the Gaia contract, Gaia, fucking do better. You're not hired. Like Astral Legends. I love Astral Legends. Why isn't he on your channel, you fucking assholes? Why is he on your channel? Why not? Because Astral Legends talked about the lost years of Yeshua. He only mentioned Nicholas Nadovich, but how much can you do? Okay, let's be honest. But he got me down the rabbit hole. I went, hang on. Whoa. He was in Tibet? Are you kidding? Wait a minute. He was in Tibet. Okay, hang on. And I started doing my research. This was about 2 years ago. 18 months ago. When I bought the Mary Magdalene book, The Lost Year, the Mary Magdalene and The Lost Years of Jesus, both by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Both books by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. And I've been reading it, things like this, you got to spoon feed yourself. Like right now I'm also listening to Sasha Riley, just so you know. Oh yeah. But I was working out, listening to Sasha Riley's test, talking to this reporter out of Canada, and I had to fucking turn it off and then turn it. I was spoon feeding the information because for an empath, it is vile. But I have to admit, when I was in the Bahamas, I was 19 years old. I was in the Bahamas. I lived in the Bahamas for a few months with my family. And in all of the hotels, they always have tons of fucking paperback books. We're all reading fucking books because, you're on the beach. What are you going to do? Sitting in the water, right? Just reading. And I read this book on family, a woman who had gone through hypnotherapy. This is when I really understood the power of hypnotherapy. It wasn't just, oh my God, I'm trying to remember the biracial couple in the 1950s that were kidnapped by a UFO. And all of that came out in their hypnotherapy sessions. I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, I forgot their name. But her husband was black, she was white, and they were airlifted in the 1950s. And when you hear the tapes, it's fucking mind-blowing. Anyway, so I'm reading this book. And my brother at the time was 13 years old, and he's watching me read it. He's seeing me. And usually books like that, I'll read in like 2 days. And it was about a young woman in her late, I think mid-30s, who had she was having a lot of weird, like psychosomatic issues with bruises, scratches on her body. She couldn't understand it. She didn't know what the hell was going on. So she went in, and I wish I knew the book, because I actually left it in the hotel room. I did not. When we finally moved back to the States, I was like, I'm not taking this book near me. I left it there. Anyway, the essence of it was she was part of a witchcraft cult where they were doing all kinds of crazy fucking shit to babies. And you know what I'm saying. And how she had been traumatized and hurt. Oprah Winfrey, years later, like in the 80s, did a show where there was a cultish family that did the same thing. And I remember when I'm 19, I'm reading this book and I'm like, I can't find, and I'm thinking to myself, right? It's probably just this family. It's probably a one-off. And then I come across many, many other things. I grow up into my 20s and 30s and I'm working my ass off and I'm not paying attention to the world because I'm into pleasure and distraction and bullshit like that. And then suddenly, in my 40s, I start realizing, I start putting it together. I come across David Icke, and my whole world fucking pivots. It completely does a fucking 180. And at that point, you know, here I am 2 years ago, listening to Teal Swan and her interview with Regina Meredith on how she was groomed through hypnotherapy, K-Tami, you know, that fucking junk shit that people are so excited to take, and what they did to her. And how somehow at the age of 15, she ran away and was able to deprogram parts of herself. I've never liked her, and now I know why, because of her background. Because there's still parts of that in her. And I'm sure she battles with it. There's no way she's fucking free willy on this shit. No way. No fucking way. But these realities that were coming out, many of us thought it was a one. It can't be a whole fucking level like it can be like 3, 4, 5 stages of it. But then Sasha Stone, who is a man, a white man who looks like Jesus, to be honest, who was born in Zimbabwe, had the judicial committee who would interview victims. In particular, there was a whole series of cases out of Australia. And the abduction of children, things of that nature, what was done, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And these victims were the children of the parents doing this shit, and they were now adults in their 30s, 40s, testifying. This was back in 2020 when the lockdown went down. I came across Sasha Stone, who was very pro-freedom. Imagine him thinking, you know, we need oxygen. What a concept with these fucking masks. But anyway. And he opened my eyes to other levels as well. And his channel was banned. David Icke's channel was banned within 1 year, less than 1 year. And his channel was banned. And most of the fucking videos that Sasha Stone, because he was on every fucking day, talking about some of the best minds in the world, psychiatrists, psychologists, PhD doctors, other types of physicians, scientists, I'm not joking, who were putting their careers on the line to talk about the truth and to talk about the various levels of machine controlled by various peoples. And he interviewed a Swiss banker who is part of a particular cult, Yuval, that goes with light. You know the word, and if I say it, I will be banned. I know this because 2 years ago I said the word, and I was banned for a whole week. And the man was sobbing. To find that interview today, oh, good luck. You'll find a small piece of it, but it was a 1 fucking hour interview. They're in a beautiful cafe. The light is beautiful, glowing. They're sitting there in an empty, gorgeous, it looks like a Venetian, you know, like cafe, like they're in how do you say, Austria, somewhere in Austria. It has that feeling. And Sasha Stone is wearing a white shirt. And that man ended up dying in a car accident or something like that, something weird. Sasha Riley on Substack. I think it's called It's Not Easy to Find Boys or something like that. I challenge you to watch the whole thing in one sitting because I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I still am not even. I'm not even in it. I mean, I'm on. I did the bottom tapes, which is F. Then I did A and B. I had to stop at A midpoint. There are puppies involved, children involved, teenage girls involved, the barbarity, the brutality. Do you understand that we have supposed leaders, influencers, who have said that empathy is overrated? Did you hear that? Empathy is overrated. Empathy is self-pity. They want to strip empathy out of us. Well, what is empathy? Well, empathy gives you psychic powers. Believe it or not. You'll know what someone's going to say before they say it. You'll call it telepathy, but it's connected to empathy. And what they've done, if you watch the movie Men Who Stared Goat, they were trying to take away the empathy and have the reptilian ability to remote view and have telepathic powers and things of that nature without the empathy. But when you are in the light, okay, when you are walking white and green magic, empathy gives you access to much, much more. And it protects you from reptilian visions. When I did The Great Mother twice, I never saw any fucking reptiles or pumas. You know what I saw? Beauty. And her voice, telepathically, it was a woman. And those of us who've had the opportunity to meet Pachamama, we all know it's a woman. Some people get nothing. It's a fucking dead zone. You know why? Because you're either not coming with humility, you're not coming with the tragic need to know thyself be true. You're not coming in on your hands and knees going, fucking whatever it takes, I need to fucking unplug. You're coming in with a big toe in the water, checking the temperature. You're not going anywhere with her. And you don't have to do it again and again and again and again and again. Some people, in fact, some of you don't ever have to do it. Ever. Because you don't need it. You actually don't. Believe me when I say that. You can actually get yourself a gong. You can actually do gong healing with your own vibrational frequency, and you can go into a hypnotic state and you will download visions. Trust me when I say that. Trust me. We're all different. But we're all connected as one beautiful, collective Hopi prophecy that is coming to be birthed. The empathy that came out of what was happening and what is still happening in Gaza was very, very important. People in born in, 100, 200 years, no, I'm going to be fair, 200 years ago, who didn't give a fuck, right? I mean, look at what happened to the Irish during the famine. By the way, it was a constructed family. It was an engineered family. And Queen Victoria was very much part of it. That's why I hate movies on her. I'm like, why are we fucking making movies on this tiny little fucking evil little pale-eyed troll? Why? Why? Fat little plug of a woman. Why? Oh, she was so petite. Look at her dress. She looks like a plug. Why? She engineered that famine. There was plenty of food in Ireland. Plenty. But it was all shipped out. So what we saw, and let's be fair to people, many people write it in the newspaper. Have you ever seen the difference between a text and then hearing the pain in your lover's voice or your child's voice? The text doesn't show the pain, the timbre, the cadence, the rhythm of pain in the voice is absolutely not present in a text. Though some of us who are empath read between the lines and we feel it. That's why we pick up the phone and call you. If we know you're going through we can tell. Because we also pick up on energetic frequency, what is not said. However, the average person was reading the paper on what was happening with the Irish. So when we got to see in 4K what was happening to the people in Gaza, and I don't think they expected the world to have empathy. I think they expected many of us to not go, yeah, I'll have another McDonald's, thank you. By the way, there were scenes of people literally eating while the video was being shown of people starving. Just eating away, haha, funny. So what's happening, just again to repeat myself, is that you are seeing the face of evil in the most benign facades, avatars, bodies, humans. And they live and they speak behind pulpits. And they are the salt of the earth, community, PTA mom. And they are nurses and doctors and therapists and politicians and lawyers. And then you have the light. And there is a huge Colorado chasm between the Grand Canyon of the assholes on one side and the fucking people of light on the other. And empathy is the way you can tell. It's very simple. It doesn't matter. Oh, I donate to, the Save the Children. I write a check every year for $10. It doesn't matter what they do. It's how they react to injustice. Is how they support evil. And that's what you need to understand. This may be my last life for a while. I'm going to gather my energies. I suggest you do the same. I would suggest that you take one day a week at least where your phone is fucking off. Where your phone is fucking off. You tell you I'll be back on social media, whatever, tomorrow. But I'm good. But turn your fucking phone off. I'm not kidding. You need a break. We all need a break because this is a lot. And we need to reinforce our powers. We need to get our business in order, spiritually speaking. So when you say, I don't know what to do, you have a whole lot of shit to do. You've got books to read, mantras to learn, chakras to clear, your home detail, get your crystals, get big ones like black tourmaline. Jillian was talking about Kainite. I would say crystal quartz, clear crystal quartz, pink crystal quartz, rose crystal quartz. And you can also tiger's eye. I just thought of that. I just saw that. So they just dropped tiger's eye for some of you that you'll know what you need. And some of it you bury into the ground at the 4 points. You can make it into a diamond. That's what I've been visualizing. A diamond point, not a rectangle diamond, if you get what I'm saying. And some of you can do it inside your house if you're in an apartment in an altar situation. Metatron would be the diagram, which you can go on Etsy. I highly recommend Etsy. A lot of these people have wonderful things that you can get together. And don't overbuy. Buy what you need, okay? Buy what you need. What else would I say? Visualize. Use 369 method to visualize the new earth in the present tense. And know that evil actually never wins. The difference between us in this particular timeline and century and the past is that spiritualists were all over the world, and the only way you could communicate with a spiritualist for hundreds of years was by letter, if you could write, or if the other person could read it. And then for the last 100 years, it was by telegram, which was expensive, or again, letter, and where everyone at that point could read. Then eventually the telephone, which was expensive if you were in London and the person was in New York, because that could cost you $700, the way they would fucking gouge you to make these calls. So again, by letter, which took a while. We have never been this close to winning. In fact, we've already won. I've said that in my last live. We've won. We have been given the technology from the very machine, not knowing what we would do with it. That's why we are pressed, and I mean urgently pressed to create communities. In Minneapolis right now, I put out a post. Well, I didn't put out a post, but I made a comment to a woman crashing the fuck out. Okay? Because apparently her kid was on lockdown, something in one of the schools. And I said, you guys need to fucking don't bring your kids to school. You guys need to have 12, 13, 14 families where you guys homeschool your children. Your kitchen tables become school. Your living room becomes school. You keep your kids at home and you rotate. You know what I'm saying? duties. Somebody in the group is great with math. The other person's great with literature, English, and so on and so forth. But you keep your kids home safe. And you educate them with the truth. Don't you see the universe is corralling us and pushing us to be in communities? Don't you see that by now? Don't you see the writing on the wall? We didn't listen to the tower moments that was affecting other people. So they started making it uncomfortable for us. Community is the only way. And why is that true? Well, in communities of like minds, you guys can meditate together, manifest together, heal the planet together, heal yourselves together, support each other, raise your kids together, be strong together. And that's really what I see. I see it. So the new earth is not a match to what we used to live. I'm seeing all these posts of, the melancholy that people have. Oh my God, in 1989, we didn't have cell phones and we used to ride our bikes until the sun went down. And do you know where your kids are? 10:30 signals on TV and shit like that. Evil was in full throttle even then. Kids were disappearing then. Do you guys know that? I went to school with a brother. I think I was like 15 and a half. I lived in Pacific Palisades, California. His sister disappeared. They never found her. I knew him. He was part of our carpooling. They never found the girl. This shit's not new. The difference is that we didn't know the level of evil underfoot. We never knew the level of evil. And now we do. And now we see its face. And it has many faces. It comes with black skin and white skin and yellow skin and red skin and tan skin and beige skin and it comes, doesn't it? It has no party. It's not Dems and Republicans. It's not left versus right. Isn't that interesting? Talk about Joseph's coat, multicolored coat. And there will be a separation. And thank God for that. Because I don't want to rub shoulders with a pedo. I don't know about you, but that's not my fucking idea. And it's weird too, because as an empath, as a psychic, I've literally stood in line or seen, I talked about it, seeing these two men on my crosswalk. Now, how many times have I stopped at a fucking red light and seen people cross my path? Fucking millions of times. And one day, my head pivoted to the fucking left and I watched those men. They saw me watching. I could tell they were fucking pieces of shit. I knew it. And the way they looked into the car, it's almost like and one of them, I locked eyes with them and they fucking turned their head going towards the right now. And my head followed them to the end. I was picking massive, nauseous energy of their proclivities, both of them. It's wild, okay? It's wild. And people will say things innocently, not thinking what they've said is just a massive red flag. To them, it's normal because when you're evil, you normalize evil. I mean, how else are you going to justify it? And some people gaslight that. They'll go, oh, he didn't mean that. No, he did. Yeah, he said it just like he said it. Yeah, he did. And I don't. And people like me, we don't gaslight that shit. We'll take that truth whole on the spot. But in the beginning of your awakening, it is hard to swallow. Your mouth is, your mouth is tight, your jaw is tight, your body is tight, and you can't believe what you're seeing. You literally can't believe what you're seeing. You didn't know evil was was that prevalent. You didn't know evil was that commonplace. You didn't know that some of these people that you thought you could trust, that you know, are evil, period, evil. And evil is evil. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Sometimes evil wears a beautiful dress, a beautiful fucking suit. That's what you have to understand. And so, you know, form your communities, homeschool your fucking children. We know what these books, these educational books came from. We know what the agenda was all along. I mean, the fact that, you know, the fact that most people in America don't know real history, and the fact that history was segregated, women's history in universities, not in fucking high school, which would have probably deconstructed misogyny if all boys, all girls learn women's history at the age of 14, to have them understand various philosophies and to respect the feminine sex with an idea. But imagine that we also taught, when kids are 14, the entire history. What does that mean? Indigenous history, African American history, Japanese history, Chinese history, Hispanic history, from the age of 14 onwards. We'd have an amazing society of empathic, loving, united people. Isn't that true? Isn't that simple to understand? I mean, I think it's so simple. Most people don't even know their history. So I want to invite you to think and understand and hold on and expand your empathy for yourself and for people that you don't know. And just know that we're going in the right direction. Women that invented contraception was based in Holland. That's, wow, I didn't know that. That's really wild. All right. Sending you much love on your journey. Thank you for all your comments and your love.